Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. I wasn't expecting to do another video today, but I had to go pick my daughter up at school, so I was looking through the news feed and I came across an article. But first let me tell you why I decided to do this video and then what it has to do with the article that I came across. So I tried to get into my credit card account earlier today and it's closed. You can't get into it. You can log in, but you can't get any information out of it. And the good thing about that on my behalf is that I always have my credit card paid in full. But I always take a look at it every day just to make sure that there's no nefarious activities on there as far as fraud goes. All right, so that's one of the reasons why I decided to make this video. Second one is I heard on a different channel, I think it was iAllegedly, I'm not sure if that's the exact one or not, but that USAA, which is a bank for veterans and for active duty military personnel, that they were giving someone a really hard time because he did not want to give them all of the information that they wanted just so that he can keep his money in there. So they updated their terms of service, I'm guessing. And so pretty much banks, what are you going to do and what's going to happen when the banks go down? When the ATMs stop working? If you take a look at this article right here, looting will be getting progressively worse amid Hurricane Ian chaos, sheriff warns. Now, even after Governor DeSantis gave that speech telling looters, hey, listen, we have the Second Amendment and people here are allowed to protect their property themselves. So make sure that if you're going to do something like that, like looting homes, that you're prepared to face the consequences. And even with that warning, ladies and gentlemen, there's looting going on and the sheriff thinks that it's going to get progressively worse. So what's going to happen when the supermarkets run out of food? Eventually that will happen, especially if they put in price controls. What's going to happen when things are rationed to where it's not enough for people to be able to feed their families, and or people won't be able to afford food in an amount that will sustain their families? What's going to happen when the ATMs go down? What's going to happen if banks go down? What's going to happen if gas stations run out of gasoline? Right now, there's a pretty good presence of law enforcement officers in and around the areas that are affected in Florida. I believe. I'm obviously not there. But what's going to happen if the LEOs, the law enforcement officers, during some kind of a major crisis, go home because they're either no longer getting paid or they're so worried about their families that they're going to go home and take care of them first and foremost, as I believe they should. Now, before I go on with the rest of this video, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that if you haven't taken a look at the very first video that I put up today, the thumbnail shows myself and my grandson, Michael. That video is for those of you that would like to support the Floridians that have been affected by Hurricane Ian. And there is no monetary contribution required. Right? So it's not a video with me asking you to contribute money or anything like that. Please go watch that video. Just you watching that video and listening to it is going to help people in Florida that need assistance. Now here it says, William Snyder, who is the sheriff of Martin County, told that he doesn't expect looters to calm down, which means that there's looting going on right now, fearing the worst. He said looters already went on a spree of stealing and ransacking structures very early after the Category 4 storm made landfall in Florida. And he says, quote, it was very early and some of the looting was starting already, but it will get progressively worse. I think as people become more desperate. Did you hear that? As people become more desperate. And this is just a regional storm. This is just a regional crisis, meaning that it's only in one part of the U.S. Imagine if we have a systemic crisis, meaning that it encompasses the entire U.S. or several countries at once. This is why I said that if you ever hear some head of state of whatever country say, we are going to war, full-on war, or if you hear the words world war that we are entering into, you need to go and stock up as soon as you can with as much stuff as you know that you're going to need for the foreseeable future. Now listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. All right, this was a hurricane, and I know that it was devastating to some parts. But they say here, shortly after the team's arrival in Charlotte, officials encountered dazed citizens or residents, as well as several pretty sketchy people looking for water, food, and fuel, but nobody was arrested at that time. What happens after the supermarkets have closed for 3 days? Think about that. Self-defense is very important. It should be part of your preparedness plans, ladies and gentlemen. Community as well. However, sometime later, Snyder received reports of people stealing gas-powered generators that were supposed to be powering traffic control devices. When they bolted those down, they chained them down, they started stealing the gas out of the generators. Oh my goodness. And this is on public property. Imagine what's happening on private property, ladies and gentlemen. A day after the team's arrival, they received a report about a house that was burning after the homeowner put a generator in the garage because he was so fearful that looters would steal their backup generator. The house was a total loss. Never use a generator inside your structure. Please, ladies and gentlemen. The challenge that stuck out the most to me was just how fragile society is when electricity and water go, the sheriff added. No gas, no electric, no water, and everything starts to come to a stop. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on in Florida is terrible. But we have to take these opportunities and learn from what's going on. Learn from what's happening. Do you really think that it's beyond imagination that this can happen where you live? And then further down here it says, as far as looting, we have law and order in Lee County. We have law and order in our great state of Florida, and we always will. Right now, we have 4 cases of looting, and I'm proud to say they're behind bars where they belong. Our residents are going to be safe, and this is part of a different county. So make sure that you can protect yourselves just in case the law enforcement in your area cannot protect you, ladies and gentlemen. That should be for every day. But for times of crises, for times of when nature becomes as destructive as this hurricane was, it's even more important. Yes, you need water. Yes, you need food. You need shelter. You need heat. You need fuel. But you need protection as well. Remember, this gentleman put his generator inside his garage because he was afraid that it would be stolen. Then maybe you ought to think about having a plan as far as security goes for when times get hard. I can tell you, in the state of Florida, you never know what may be lurking behind somebody's home. And I would not want to chance that if I were you, given that we are a Second Amendment state. And that's what DeSantis said, actually, not the sheriff. And even with that warning, you still have people going out there and looting. And more than likely, a lot of these people are desperate. Quick video, I just wanted to put this out there. You have to be thinking about self-protection. And when things go bad, look at how fast the looting started. Just days after, or less than days after, the looting has already started. It's happened before. It's going to happen again. The question is, if it happens where you live, will you be prepared for that? Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. Again, please go check out that video and participate so that we can help out our Floridian brothers and sisters. Now, for those of you that don't know, I did do a live stream earlier today, so go check that out because there was a lot of stuff that we talked about during that live stream. Having said that, again, have a great day. God bless every one of you.